It's only a few days until Season 20, and a lot is changing, and there's going to be some new things you see on the map, or from Legends that are going to confuse you, like, what does the Pathfinder electric zipline mean? So, let's cover everything you need to know, and first of all, there is a new perk system coming next season, where every single Legend gets 2 perks they can choose out of 4 total, allowing them to basically spice up their abilities, and a few ability perks give the abilities visual changes so you can tell what perks the enemy has. The first perk that changes the appearance of an ability is Maggie's Fireball perk. Essentially, this is a purple armor perk that allows Maggie to turn a wrecking ball into a fireball. When the fireball explodes, it will drop 2 thermites, making it an absolutely brilliant room cleaner. The way you will be able to tell if a Maggie has this perk applied is when they throw their wrecking ball, the wrecking ball will be spurting out fire as if it's unstable. This means one of 2 things: the Maggie has the fireball perk, and also the Maggie has purple level armor, so you can prepare better for the fight ahead. If you're a Maggie using this perk though, do remember that your wrecking ball breaks doors, so if enemies are inside a small room, just throw that ball in and it will definitely take care of them. The second ability that undertakes a change thanks to perks is Gibby's Bubble. Gibby actually has a purple armor perk once again that makes his bubble smaller at the cost of reducing his cooldown time, making Gibby a lot more of an offensive legend and better at pushes, because he can drop this small bubble, fight in and out of it, and then quickly have a new bubble once that one goes down. Once again, this is a purple armor perk, so if you see a small bubble, the Gibby has purple armor. And honestly, I think this is massively going to change the Gibby meta. He's going to be super useful, especially in pubs if people can master him properly. The skill ceiling is definitely going to raise thanks to this update. Also, if you see a red Octane jump pad on the ground, that means there's an Octane with a purple armor nearby. Knowing what the red jump pad does is actually more important if you have an Octane on your team compared to if you're fighting the Octane. Because if this jump pad is on the ground, it means when you double jump, you can actually redirect in the air, much like a tap strafe. Essentially, it's hard to describe how this works, but it's a normal jump pad that allows you to change direction with your second jump. Although I think with Octane, his other perk allowing 2 jump pads is definitely much better. Here is a really cool one though. If you see a zip line that's emitting electricity, this means it was placed by a Pathfinder with a purple armor perk called Energized Zip Lines. An Energized Zip Line essentially makes it so when the Pathfinder who placed it is riding it, he takes less damage while on the zipline, and it's significantly less, honestly. If you're fighting a Pathfinder who's placed an energy zipline, be very careful because it's making it very easy for him to push you. If you are a Pathfinder with an energized zipline, basically use this to push enemies. You can zipline through an open field and have much less risk to die in than normal. I'm not actually sure if this works for your teammates as well. There's no details explicitly, but I'm sure there will be in the patch notes. But if energized ziplines also make your teammates take less damage, this is absolutely huge for rushing into fights, especially fights on high buildings. Those are the only perks that change visual appearance on abilities that I can think of, but there's a few legends you basically just need to focus on because they're going to be crazy. Lifeline has a perk that allows it to self-revive, so be very careful from now on of downed lifelines because they may just come back and bite you. Be very careful for them. Also, watch out for Bangalore's camping in the smoke because there's now a very simple perk that allows Bangalore's to heal when sitting in the smoke. Same applies with Caustic, but obviously it's much harder for Caustic to hide in his smoke. This next set of perks is literally just going to make me main Mirage again. It's that simple. Basically, don't trust any Mirage you see anymore. Mirage has perks that allow him to have 2 charges of his tactical decoy. He has a perk that allows him to have 1 extra decoy in his ultimate, and he has another perk that allows him to send another decoy out immediately if somebody shoots one of his decoys. He is now very dangerous to the untrained eye, so be very careful of Mirages from now on. There's a lot of legends to be careful about. That's not the only thing you should be very careful of, because if you're fighting somebody with an Eva, you need to be super careful if your armor is cracked. You will need to immediately heal it, because now the Eva is in the care package, it's got a brand new hop up it's never had before, at least to my knowledge. The hammer point, which means if you get shot by the care package Eva while you've got no shield, you will take a lot of damage, so be super careful of that. Combining this Eva with some of the Gibby perks is also very powerful. There's going to be a lot of very powerful combos of perks and certain weapons. Another note is Daz actually told us that the 30-30 has been nerfed, which if you just started using the 30-30 because you've seen a lot of pros using it, I'm afraid that meta may be over. Also, as soon as you start up Season 20, you may be super confused about the armor system and the fact that you can't shield swap anymore because your armor is essentially attached to your body for the rest of the game. You can't take it off. Well, fear not, because Respawn already predicted this, and there's going to be a new armor core system in the game, where basically on people's death boxes, they hold their armor charge, not their armor. So if you just killed somebody with white armor as somebody with purple armor, swapping to their core will only heal 2 of your shields, but you will still have purple armor. But also, if you have, say, white armor and you kill somebody with red armor and you switch to their red core, you will temporarily hold their red shields until they slowly decay off your armor level, which is going to make fights very interesting, and at least Respawn are still keeping the skill gap that armor swaps offer in the game. Also, because armor is binding to your body, if you want to upgrade your armor, you don't explicitly have to fight enemies all the time. There's actually 2 ways you can upgrade your armor in bulk. First of all, in between points of interests, there's a new item called the Evo Harvester on the ground, and basically, when you interact with it, it gives you free Evo points. These are disabled during round 1, as I understand, so people don't rush to them, but when you're wandering around the map, it's worth picking these up. Also, there's going to be a new item on the floor called an Evo Cache, which does the same thing, but you can find this thing anywhere, and mostly in care packages because it's very rare. And hey, care packages have a new paint job, do you see that? Enough about the armor system though, because despite having no official map changes, there are a few tiny map changes on World's Edge that you will want to go check out, because the Apex Museum has had a rework, and now it's featuring some new stuff, mainly about Titanfall. There's going to be a wall on the Frontier War, there's going to be the Titanfall 2 Time Gauntlet, there's going to be loads of stuff about Blisk and Titans. It's going to be very interesting, so make sure to drop there on World's Edge and have a look around, because that is basically a new map change. Also in there's a Valkyrie skin concept on the wall that we haven't seen yet, so maybe that's an upcoming skin, or just a scrap skin, we don't really know. Speaking of Apex museums though, EA actually opened up a real Apex museum in Japan, and it's definitely something. They have real replicas of the heirloom and stuff, which I just thought was interesting with the fact that it released with Season 20. Although I think if you are from Japan, this is like a temporary thing, so go to it really quickly if you want to go see it. Also with Season 20, clubs are being completely removed, so if you have that friend you always have to invite through clubs because they appear offline all the time, like, bro, you're not a celebrity, get over it, this will no longer work for you. You're gonna have to make your friend come online and face the fact that they have a friends list. Also, if you have anything booked for like the next 2 months, just unbook it. This season is going to be a massive grind if you're really into free items. First of all, with the anniversary event, there is going to be a prize tracker with loads of free stuff, which I'm sure you've seen. This is definitely worth grinding though. But second of all, there is going to be a brand new set of challenges that take place almost over the whole season to get a free reactive flatline. So if you do want some free stuff and a free reactive flatline, you're going to be grinding the game like crazy. We saw from the Gaming Merchants gameplay there is details on these challenges in game, so I won't explain them again because they will just be explained in game anyway. Also, speaking of the anniversary event, Straight Shot is an LTM coming with it, and Daz actually showed us some really cool gameplay of the start, and this gives us more of an idea of how the start works. Basically, you drop over a point of interest without a jump master from a small goblin dropship, and yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. This whole season is going to be very interesting, and it's going to be a lot to get used to. Like, there is so much new stuff that you're just going to have to learn from scratch, and it's going to make Apex, number one, a really good experience again, because learning the game is always fun, but it's also going to be a bit of a nightmare when you get killed by a random perk you don't know the details of, and you're going to have to learn fresh. So, who's excited to learn like 100 perks for every legend? And subscribe.